Hi, I'm Miss Hearn. Let's get started. In this video, we're going to talk about writing the prime factorization of a given natural number. But before we start, we need to remember what we mean by a prime number. A prime number is any number that's only divisible by itself in 1. For example, the number 2 is the smallest natural number that's a prime. It's divisible exactly by 1 in itself. Other primes include 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23, 29, 31, 37, and so on. I can't make a complete listing of all the prime numbers because there are an infinite number of prime numbers. But we will be using most of these smaller primes as we try to construct prime factorizations. The fundamental theorem of arithmetic says that every natural number can be expressed in one and only one way as a product of primes, if the order of the factors is disregarded. This unique product of primes is called the prime factorization of the natural number. For example, the number 6 can be written as the product 2 times 3, where 2 and 3 are prime numbers, whereas the number 24 can be written as 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, or using exponential notation, 2 to the third times 3. Let's practice finding the unique prime factorization of a given composite number. By the way, composite number just means that it's not prime. So let's find the prime factorization of 240. We're going to do this in two different ways. First, using the ladder method. So all this means is that we're going to divide the number 240 by prime numbers and see which goes in evenly. But we're going to do so in a way that's organized and it's quickest. So first of all, you need to know your prime numbers: 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, and so on. Write down the first few prime numbers to keep them in mind, and then you're going to divide by the smallest one first. 240 is an even number, so it's divisible by 2. I'm going to write my division symbol upside down and write the answer on the bottom rather than the top, because it's just going to make it easier to work through the problem. So 2 goes into 240 120 times. Then you ask yourself, does 2 go into 120? Yes, 120 is an even number. It's divisible by 2, so we're going to divide by 2 again. 2 goes into 120 60 times. Does 2 go into 60? Yes, it does. So we're going to divide by 2 again. And we're going to keep doing that until we can't divide by 2 anymore. 2 goes into 60 30 times. 2 goes into 30 15 times. Now 15 is not an even number. 2 will not go into 15. So we're going to move on to the next prime number, 3, and see if that goes into 15 evenly, which it does. So we divide 3 into 15, which gives us a 5. Now, notice that in this case, we got another prime off of our list, the number 5. When that happens, we're going to stop. 240 then is going to be equal to the product of all of the prime factors that we divided into it plus that number 5. So 240 is going to be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. But we prefer to write this in exponential notation with an exponent on the 2. So 2 is multiplied by itself 4 times, so we write that as 2 to the 4th times 3 times 5. This is the prime factorization of 240. I'm going to use the ladder method because it seems like my students like that one best. I'm going to jot down the first few prime numbers and then just keep those in mind. So I'm going to start with the smallest. 2 goes into 300 150 times. 150 is also an even number, so we'll divide by 2 again, and that gives me 75. Now that's no longer an even number. Now you don't have to go to the 3 next. You can go to any prime number, but I like to go in order just to make sure I don't miss anything. 3 goes into 75 25 times. And 25 is not divisible by 3, so we're going to move on to the next prime, which is the number 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times, and again, once you reach a prime, you're going to stop. So now we just look at all the divisors and the last prime, and we say that 300 is equal to 2 twice, so 2 squared, times 3 times 5 twice. And that's the prime factorization of 300. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up. That helps other students to find the video.